How do I want to start this? Okay, let's just 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Tennessee Titans, Seattle Seahawks. We get it done again. You just threw your hat up in the air. Kind of missed it.
Throwing the hats for the win, man.
That's okay, man. Throw it up, dude. We got the victory. Titans taking care of business at home against the Seahawks, 33-27. This is our recap podcast from that game. We're just going to give our reactions to what we saw on the field today, and boy, was it a thing of beauty, especially that second half, second game in a row where the Titans' offense just takes off and really separates themselves from the other team. And it was done. It was a done dealio after that.
I mean, still a close game at the end. Seahawks almost came back. Obviously, behind the magic of Russell Wilson. We knew going in that he's a special quarterback, and we saw that. But
unbelievable.
Much higher scoring than anyone predicted.
Yeah,
especially
I do want to give you props because you did predict a 6-point Titans victory. You were just 20 points off of how much points each team would score.
I predicted the Titans to win 13-7 because I thought it was going to be a really close defensive struggle, low scoring, which after, at halftime, I was like, wow, my prediction's looking pretty good. Second half, a different story. Both teams just kind of opened the floodgates, especially the Titans in the third quarter. Yeah,
pretty shocking. This is the best that the Seahawks offense has looked by far on offense in a game. I mean, if you had told me Russell Wilson would have thrown for over 350 yards and 4 touchdowns, I thought there would be no way that we would have won this game. But not only did we win, but our defense, we played pretty well throughout the game.
It was a career high for Russell Wilson. And passing yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's, you told me the stats of that, and I'm like, yeah, for sure we got blown out maybe. But no, different story today, different story. So what's your take on this game? Big win for huge win. Come on.
We're starting to say this a lot now. Like last year, we beat the Packers and biggest win in since the franchise has had in years. Then we beat the Broncos, which was still a big win. And then we beat the Chiefs, and I was like, oh man, an even bigger win this franchise has had in so many years. Now we're beating the Seahawks, and people are like, this is now the biggest win that this franchise has had. I mean, we're starting to see this team.
Kansas City.
Yeah, didn't I say that?
I don't know. You might have.
Chiefs, Kansas City.
Maybe it just didn't register with me.
We're starting to see this team kind of turn corner after corner and getting big win after big win. I mean, this is an exciting thing to see our team doing right now. This year, I think is different in that we're getting these big wins early on, and that I think we've got the eyes of the national spotlight or the national media fans, I guess you could say. Whereas last year, we were getting big wins, but they were later in the season because we didn't start winning games till later in the season. But now we're piling on. Well, it's 2. I don't want to get ahead of myself. This is just the second win, but we're looking like we were at midseason form last year right now, still at the beginning of the season.
I mean, look back at our body of work, though, over the past this season and into last season. We beat 5
past 8 games.
Well, no, I'm just saying even farther. Last season, we beat 5 playoff teams, including the Packers, the Broncos, Kansas City. This year, we beat the Seahawks, beat the Jags. I know that's not a huge win, but it's looking better now that the Jags just put it on the Ravens in London this morning.
I guess the Jags are a good team. I didn't think so after we played them, but now maybe they are, and we just kind of took it to them last week. But
but it's nice, back to your point where you're saying that we keep on saying, oh, it's a big win for the franchise. I think I think Mariota actually hit on it in his post-game press conference that the fans are finally starting to realize. But Mariota said something to the effect of, when they saw this game on the schedule, there's already an atmosphere in the locker room of they're expecting to win this game. There's they know that they're good enough. They know that they're there, that they can compete with the best teams in the league. I think, last year it was kind of took the league by surprise how well we performed over the course of a season, especially against some of the top tier teams. Now it's almost like that attitude is there where it's like, oh yeah, we can compete with these teams, and even we expect to win the games that we should be winning against these teams, against the Seahawks, who for the past 5-6 years have been one of the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah, no doubt,
no argument. 2 Super Bowl win in that every year they're in the
every year in the playoffs. Yeah, for sure. And you can see it in the mentality. You can just see this sense of belief in this team. It's crazy. It's crazy to see this turnaround and what John Robinson has done, bringing in these players in the draft and free agency, just making plays. Jonnu Smith, Jayon Brown, Adoree Jackson. For the love of Moses, can you please not get a punt return called back? Because you're looking so good, man. Oh, you're looking so good.
On fire.
Oh, man, he's going to get a touchdown this year. Just a matter of time. He will get his touchdown. I do want to ask you this because you were at the game. And,
I was at the game.
And I was not at the game. So give me a picture of what the stadium looked like and the atmosphere and the energy surrounding the stadium. And I'm sure there's a lot of Seahawks fans there too, but I'm sure there's a lot of Titans hype.
You whistled. I like that.
There's some air that passed through a very small crevice in my teeth.
There's a bird in this room. There was a lot of Seahawks fans before the game, which, you know what? I hate to say this as a Titans fan, but playing some of the big premier teams in the league, I'm kind of used to seeing a lot of away fans showing up to the stadium.
No doubt.
I think that'll get better over time, especially if we continue this streak. But obviously, once again, playing the Seahawks, one of the best teams in the league over the past few years, they had a lot of fans. More than I thought, though, especially since seeing how far away they are from Tennessee, you know, all the way on the West Coast.
They travel, man. They travel good.
But they're, especially pregame, walking around downtown Nashville, crossing the bridge, lots of Seahawks fans everywhere you looked. But I was really impressed with the noise that the home crowd brought, especially on some critical, third downs, the fourth downs that the Ravens, other birds,
they're
other
not
birds.
for several months down the road.
All the big downs that the Seahawks faced, the home crowd really showed out today. And I think I heard him mention it. I think it might have been Malarkey actually kind of give props to the fans in this game, which was surprising for how I thought maybe even the number of Seahawks fans and Titans fans were in the game. So we're definitely coming along as Titans fans.
We're feeling it. Yeah, feeling the successes. We're feeling the success that we have had.
Feeling it
through last season and then now into this season, continuing on playing some good football. That's what people want to see here, and yeah, success attracts the fans and the energy. So yeah, hopefully we can keep it up. We're going on the road the next couple weeks, but hey,
we are.
Is our next home game the Monday nighter against Indy? I think it might be.
I believe it is. We got Houston next on the away, then Miami away. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then another division game, Monday Night Football, hosting at Nissan. I'm sure the fans are going to show out for that one because it's against our division rival, the Colts, who we have not beaten.
And they don't travel
beaten
near
in 11
as well.
straight games.
Yeah.
11 straight games.
Let's
let's focus on this game, Justin. Yeah. Let's start with the first half here. Very defensive-minded first half.
Yeah, how many were there?
Both offenses struggled. There was a combined 10 3-and-outs for both teams.
How many 3-and-outs were there? I wanted to start the game. There was 3 or 4.
I wanted to make sure I got that stat, but there was a combined 10 3-and-outs in the first half. Crazy. The score at halftime was 9-7.
How did it become a shootout?
Over Seattle, and then 10 of those points from both teams came in the last 2 minutes of the second half.
Good.
So before that, it was 6-0 Tennessee, and then Seattle got that late touchdown drive, and then we answered right away with nigh a second to spare.
Nigh a second.
With
not
Ryan
at all.
Suckup. So
that was a big time response though after their touchdown. To tack on the field goal, grab the lead back right before halftime. And I think that drive was huge. I mean, you could say that could have been the turnaround point in the game as far as confidence goes. I think we moved the ball further and I don't know more effectively than we had all game and so quickly down the field. I think our team kind of gained a sense of belief, like, hey, we can move the ball in this team. We've kind of, I don't know. Do you have a feeling we kind of were feeling out the Seahawks team, and they are kind of feeling us out through the first half with how much the offenses were struggling, and we were trying to adjust the game plan. I don't know. Did you get that sense at all?
Well, so back to that. Let's stay on that last drive. Before halftime, since we brought that up first, because I think that was a critical moment in the game because we had kind of been, we at that point going into 2 minutes left in the half, we were up 6-0. Our defense had really just been shutting down anything that the Seahawks had been going at, had been putting out there, whatever product they were running game, passing game, doesn't matter. Our defense was kind of stifling that. 2 minutes left in the half, they get a big pass to Doug Baldwin, another big pass to CJ precise, and then
precise
immediately they're up 7-6, and they're going to get the ball at halftime. Like, it's a very critical moment for our team. Like, if we don't, we had like what 50-ish, 45 seconds left on the clock. I'm not sure exactly. They just took the lead after we had kind of controlled the first half. I mean, we hadn't put up a lot of points. I think we're definitely
outplaying them. Yeah, and we didn't have the lead at that point.
Yeah, which is kind of, I feel like, just a Titans characteristic over our mediocrity over the past 8 years. Like sometimes we would outplay teams, but then we just couldn't finish them off, and we let them hang around just long enough to where they could take the lead, and that's what was happening. So I think that last drive, as time expired, to get points on the board, retake the lead before halftime, and then have that confidence of, even if they get the ball in the second half and come out and score, which they did, that our offense was still kind of had that momentum. Like, we got momentum going into half that we sustained into the third quarter and took off running with that momentum, honestly, even though the Seahawks came out and scored on their opening possession. So I think that was just a huge drive to kind of just handle their answer, almost like answer their answer. Like, okay, we've been controlling the first half, but you just had one good drive. You took the lead, but we came back and
two big pass plays, really.
Yeah, took the lead right back from you and still went into halftime with the lead.
Yeah,
I think it was a really strong
we outplayed
answer.
you guys. This is our lead. We're going to snatch it right back.
Exactly. So I think that was
mentality,
one of the key drives of the game. I thought that was huge, being able to go into halftime with the lead after they had just kind of like answered our first half. I don't want to say dominance, but control of the game.
Right.
Okay, so but back to the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Then.
So weird kind of, a strange first half, in that offenses on both sides were getting shut down, and there were a lot of penalties. Our best play, I think we tweeted this out. Our best play was like the Richard Sherman hat trick penalty infraction that he committed with the pass interference. Andy held, and then he flipped out on the ref and got a unsportsmanlike conduct, and that put us automatically in field goal range. Mariota scores on the touchdown run. Penalty negates it on
the Decker hold.
I don't know.
Or was that later?
No. Yeah, it was. It was on Decker hold. And I mean, we can talk about some ticky-tack bad penalty calls. I don't know if we should dwell on them too much, but that was a bad call, I thought. Decker then commits an offensive pass interference. Still a little questionable. That pushes us back 10 more yards. Decker then catches a nice pass to put us back in field goal range, and then we tack on a field goal. So, a lot of penalty flags that kind of affected both teams, stopped a lot of momentum. Seahawks really killed themselves. They had, 11 penalties called against them throughout the entire game.
Yes, and you pointed this out. We had 6 first downs from penalties in the game.
Yeah.
From penalties on Seattle in the game.
Yeah, they gave us 6 first downs.
They gave us 6 first downs. I'm not even sure the Raiders in tonight's game got 6 first downs in the whole game.
Yeah.
I think they did, but Seattle gave us 6 first downs. But there was
Raiders
2
fans
separate...
not going to like that comment.
Yeah, sorry. There was 2 separate occasions in the first half where Seattle got at least 3 penalties on them in one play.
Yeah.
Just crazy. But
they're helping us out a little bit there.
What do you attribute to... We got a few questions from Twitter all answering the same thing, because once again, I think it's kind of been a trend this season. I know we put up 33 points in this game. We put up 37 a week ago against the Jags. But after both first halves of those games, we hadn't scored a touchdown. We'd only put up a few field goals on the board. Jags was we were up 6-3 at halftime.
Yeah.
Am I correct? This time we're up 9-7, and it's still just off to slow starts. Got a few questions. Tom at Tizzy Sprinkles asks, "What do you make of the slow starts for the Titans offense? ? Play calling ? Or execution?" So he's asking, are slow starts, especially on offense, a result of play calling or just executing the play calling, the plays that are being called?
Yeah, I got it. We got it.
You got that.
We got it. Thanks, Sprinkles. Tizzy Sprinkles.
Tizzy Sprinkles.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be a combo of both. I mean, you saw our offense, like our running game wasn't getting anything. Derrick Henry had -6, -5, -6 rushing yards in the first half.
Even then,
guys were missing blocks.
I think Murray only had like 30 yards on...
But a lot of carries.
Yeah. His average was way low until that 75-yard rush in the second half.
Yeah.
Kind of boosted. That's the new word.
Boosted
his stats.
But I do think it kind of is a combination of the two. And I sort of mentioned this earlier, and maybe it's like the way our coaching staff is, maybe we just kind of have to feel out the defense a little bit and see how they're playing it, how they're game planning against us, and then make our adjustments into, being able to find something that does work. And when we do, it works a lot because our running game got on fire in the second half. But yeah, and I don't know, just the slow starts. It's been a consistent thing, and that's not gonna. We can't come out in the second half and just win every game like that in the second half. We're gonna have to start fast eventually. Like we can't go down 2-3 touchdowns in the first half in one of these games. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Is it play calling? I remember we had one of those running plays to Taywan Taylor, and that just seemed, I liked the play, but it just kind of seemed out of place. Like I think that's a play you throw in a little bit down the road during a game and not like in the first drive or two. I don't know, it almost seems like the Seahawks were expecting that, and they shut it down immediately.
Well, I think it was within our first possession, maybe the second or third play, I think I took a note of it, that we already had Taywan Taylor in the backfield. I know he was going to be featured more, obviously with Corey Davis being out, but I didn't know he was going to be, started being featured in the backfield like he was that early on.
Yeah,
when I saw that
early to do something like that.
Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, we're going to kind of work this into the game plan, maybe break it out later for some kind of
and we did
trickery.
Yeah.
All we saw that was like, I remember that play. It was like a jet sweep to the short side of the field for -1 yard or something. He ended up losing a yard on the play.
1 yard.
I kind of agree with you. I liked what you said about, especially this game, both teams kind of feeling each other out. That's kind of what it felt like. It felt like, one, Seattle knew they've pretty much had the same identity, the same team for the last 5 years, in their Super Bowl runs. I know they've changed out some of their personnel, but a lot of the main pieces have been there, and a lot of who Seattle has been there. This year, they have a really bad offensive line, and I think they know that. I mean, it's no doubt. Anyone watching them knows they have a bad offensive line, and I think Russell Wilson knows it the most. So I think they were kind of feeling out how we're going to attack their weaknesses. And I think we were kind of feeling out, okay, what is this, how are we going to work around the Seattle defense, this Legion of Boom? They were really shutting down the run early. Mm-hmm. We were getting no push up front. And so I think it was kind of both. It felt like two heavyweights kind of going at it, kind of just exchanging blows, trying to figure out where the teams are weak, where you can make an adjustment and exploit it in the second half, which I really like that we're kind of getting that respect from some of the elite teams in the league. Yeah. I feel like the Seahawks were a little too scared to come out and try something, really erratic. I don't know, against us. Yeah. I don't know if that's the right word, but so that's kind of what I attributed it to in this game. I actually thought Terry Robisky, I thought the play calling, looking at the whole game, was fantastic.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think he's gotten a lot of flack this season for the slow starts, for the bad play calling, for the lack of touchdowns and offense that we've seen in some, especially the first halves. But I thought over the course of the game, I thought the play calling was absolutely spot on against the Seahawks.
And having said that, and I completely agree with you, but on certain situations, I'm just like scratching my head, like, what are we doing? Why are we doing that? Like, there's a 3rd and short, and we ran a pass play to Eric Weems out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he should be out there as receiver.
But we are pretty short on receiver right now. I like what he brings to the team,
and we are short on receiver. But I don't think that's a guy we need to be targeting on a 3rd down situation or anything like that. And at the very end of the game, I hate being nitpicky like this, but we had a 3rd and 2.
But I'm going to be nitpicky.
Yeah, but I still will. It was a 3rd and 2, and there was 4 or 5 minutes left. Seahawks were down by 13 points, and we run a pass play. And I mean, our run game had been working very well in the second half up to that point. I think, give the ball to DeMarco Murray or do something where at least you're going to keep the clock running. And I felt very confident our offense could pick up 2 yards on a running play at that point. And even if we didn't, the clock would run. But no, Mariota throws an incomplete pass, and it's just like, man, it almost seems like a no-brainer sometimes. But hey, we're not coaches. I can't criticize, but whatever. You said it. Terry Robisky called a great game. Coaches, hats off to them. They made a great adjustment, and man, we put on more points against the Seahawks than any team this year easily. Green Bay Packers offense put up 17 against them.
Yeah.
They still won that game, but man, we almost doubled that.
Some of the play calls, especially in the second half, after maybe adjustments we had made to the play calling, the little backfield route to Jonnu Smith for the touchdown. He was wide open coming out of the backfield, and no one even covered him. The wide receiver screen play to Rashard Matthews. That I know a lot of that was Rashard Matthews, but come on, that was a perfectly set up screenplay.
And then great blocking downfield too. So.
And then the shifting before the DeMarco Murray, the shifting to the backfield before DeMarco Murray's 75-yard run to the weak side. I thought that was all just perfectly executed and called.
Yeah.
So both of them are attributed to that. And I really thought Marcus had a really great day today. I thought he was pinpoint accurate. And I think
he started slow a little bit. He started, 1 for 6, 1 for 7 or something like that.
I think he was 2 for 9. But he was 1 for 6 and then 2 for 9. But I think a lot of that, too, was him, which was one of my keys to the game, him not wanting to make a really early mistake, give this elite team all the momentum early on, thinking that they can just come out and kind of stomp us. Yeah. I think he was being a little careful early on, which may have attributed to our slow start. Maybe a little too careful, checking down to Eric Weems on a third down as opposed to trying to force it in to a deeper route. But I think it paid off to where later in the game he was on fire, hitting some great passes. Yeah,
definitely.
Yes.
And that reminds me of another point. At this point last season, I mean, we were 1-2, so it's only a game difference. But, man, we just look like a completely different team. And I think a key for that is that our offense, we didn't turn the ball over at all this game, correct? We didn't get any turnovers.
We did not. No turnovers.
But we did not turn the ball over at all. We are taking much, much better care of the football at the start of this season than we were last year. And you know what? I know our defense didn't get any turnovers, but I think we're a team that can survive if we don't turn the ball over, even if our defense – we're not a team that we need our defense to create a turnover. I mean, yeah, that would be nice, but it looks like our offense is good enough that if we take care of the ball, take care of our business and what we're doing and putting up points, then our defense, just slow down, force some punts, make a few plays here and there, and we'll win a lot of games.
Yeah, I agree. I think another thing with the offense and the play calling is, especially when we were seeing that we were controlling the game with our game plan in the first half. Very low scoring, but we stuck with it. I mean, we stuck with the run game. Yeah, DeMarco Murray and you said yourself, Derrick Henry had like -6 yards or something going into half. DeMarco Murray had a very low run average. We stuck with the run game. We didn't get away from it. Even after they came out in the second half and put up a touchdown on their first drive, and we ended up breaking off. We rushed for 95 yards.
Can you read me the carry splittage between DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, please?
Oh, I can because it's beautiful. Derrick Henry, 14 carries for 115 yards and 1 touchdown. Derrick Henry, 13 carries. Yeah. So one carry less than DeMarco Murray.
Sends shivers up my
spine.
For
54 yards.
Perfect split in usage of those two backs.
And then Mariota, he rushed 7 times. And you know what? I thought he picked and chose his spots perfectly. I thought he was very smart. I know there was one play late, especially we were in the red zone, and we called like a draw for him up the left side, and he slid a few yards short of the first down where he probably could have dove and got it. But I thought he was being extremely careful, especially with how he got hit early in the game by Richard Sherman. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But I thought he picked and chose his spots perfectly, where he needed to run, where he needed to attack. He made all the right calls on the read options or read pass options. He had
that beautiful touchdown run, but Eric Decker apparently can't block somebody in front of him because that's a hold or something.
Weak. Yeah, it was. The running game was beautiful. I know the averages weren't great until Murray broke off that 75-yard run, but that's what happens in the NFL. I mean, you got to account for that.
You got to keep plugging away and executing, and you're going to get those kind of plays. And then while we're on that, let me just say what a day for DeMarco Murray. I know a lot of people may say like, "Oh, it was one run, and if you take out that run, yada yada yada." No. Murray made it happen. He did it, and he has such good vision, even that far downfield. Reading his blocks from his receivers, Jalston Fowler blocking 60 yards down the field.
Yes, I would definitely want. I had that. Wanted to mention that on that play. Rashard Matthews blocking all the way downfield. Jalston Fowler blocking 60 to 70 yards all the way down the field. Did not stop blocking the whole way. What an effort from this whole team. They don't give up.
Yeah. And what I was going to say about Murray is, man, I am so happy for him. He needed this day really, really badly because I'm sure, players have got to hear about the talk and the debate. Oh, man, Derrick Henry needs to take over until DeMarco gets 100%. And, man, I think this is great for DeMarco's confidence. This is great, overall. Just for the chemistry of the entire team, like we needed DeMarco to have this day. DeMarco needed himself to have this kind of day to show that, yeah, he's still a very, very much our starting running back, really. I mean, yeah, we do need to give Henry the ball here and there, or not just here and there. We need to give him the ball a lot, but and I even saw DeMarco Murray pick up some blitzes very well. Like he's
really good at that.
Man, he is so good.
I think we brought that up recently. How that's over. I mean, that's just
it's an overlooked thing that he does.
Yeah, it's overlooked.
Yeah,
he's great at blitz pickup. He's great in the passing game.
Yeah,
he
had a few catches.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I liked how we used Derrick Henry because I feel like he kind of came in and finished off the game, kind of ran down the clock in the fourth quarter where we needed
That's how you draw it up, man. Like in the third, fourth quarter, you just give Derrick Henry the ball, fresh legs, and, man, we saw him getting chunk plays.
Yeah, I don't care if you're the Legion of Boom or the Legion of Doom. It doesn't matter. Do you want to tackle Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter? No, I don't.
In the 90-degree heat of Nashville, Tennessee.
After getting pounded by DeMarco Murray? Yeah, it's a great... It's not even a problem. I was going to say it's a great problem to have, arguing who should start, Murray or Henry. It doesn't matter. We got both great backs.
Yeah.
But we have a question here from... at YRNT Yernte.
A lot of emojis in the name.
Yeah, a lot of emojis. Do you think the Titans can compete? Titans offense can compete with any defense after the last few games, and do you think that the Henry over Murray talk is over after this game?
Yeah, I think it should be.
What we were talking about, but.
Trust the coaches some. Like they know how to use these backs. Murray proves that he can still do it. Derrick Henry obviously can do it. Wait, what did I say? Derrick Murray? No,
Derrick Murray.
Derrick Henry. They're both great. They're both good. I think the coaches utilized both of them perfectly in this game. As for the other question, we played apparently a very good Jacksonville team and or defense at least, and put up 37 points against them after they completely shut down the Ravens and shut down the Texans.
And then how the Texans competed with the Patriots today.
Yeah,
let's not forget that. I mean, the NFL was crazy today.
But yeah, I mean, if we could talk about all the games, that would be sweet because there's a lot of crazy things that happened. Yeah, the Texans.
But just comparing our early wins and losses, now that Jags win is looking super good because they put it on the Texans. Texans competed with the Patriots today, and then I hate doing that game where it's like, well, we beat them, but then they beat them, and then we beat them, so we're the best team. But
yeah,
it happens sometimes.
But, especially after the Raiders kind of laid an egg. But
Jags D is for real.
Jags D is for real. Obviously, the Seahawks
D is for real. Ask Joe Flacco's stat line.
Oh my goodness, he had more interceptions than yards. No, that's not true. But
close. But close.
Yeah. I think we can. I mean, I can't believe we're doing this against some of the best defenses in the league so far. I mean, it's still early to say how good Jacksonville is, but and the Ravens, the Raiders, probably not amongst the worst defenses. They're probably borderline top 10 defense, I think. Yeah. I don't know. It's still early. But the Legion of Boom, yeah, they're one of the top defenses in the NFL. If we can compete with them, I like our chances against virtually anybody, to be honest with you.
For sure.
I mean, you saw how good they are in the first half. I mean, we couldn't do anything. But we changed something. We found some way to exploit that and really took off against them in the second half.
I mean, our smash mouth is going to wear anybody down.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Kenneth Eric Coons at Kenneth_Coons. He said that he was so frustrated after that return was called back, the Adoree Jackson return, which we all were frustrated by that ghost blocking the back call. But do you think the Titans can overcome frustrating plays like that / have the Titans arrived?
That's like two different questions.
So let's get to the Adoree. We can mention it real fast.
I mean, we answered that in the same game. I mean, we overcame that. We definitely overcame a lot. We overcame a lot of bad officiating and play calls that went against us that should have been touchdowns, like Mariota's run and Adoree Jackson's punt return. Which, by the way, on the Adoree Jackson punt return, I guess you didn't see this, but on TV, they initially called it against Ty Smith, number 33, who kind of like blocked somebody in the side, and the Seahawks defender actually kind of ran into him more than Ty Smith did. But really, they went back, and it was actually David Fluellen, what's his name, Mike Pereira, the officiating guy on TV. said this is actually what they called out the wrong number, but they meant 32, David Fluellen. And he did grab a Seahawks defender for a fraction of a second. And that was more believable than seeing what they said they called against Ty Smith. But it still wouldn't have affected Adorie's punt return. I mean, it was he still had too much momentum, too much speed going by, which, I don't know, I'm less mad about that, knowing that David Fluellen might have held a little bit, but very ticky-tack. I've seen worse, way worse, not being called.
Yeah, I wonder. I wish no one's gonna look up the stat, but I wish I could see how many times a penalty called back a punt return where the penalty was so far away from the play it wouldn't have affected the return at all. Because I bet that's a lot. Yeah, but they actually at the stadium they showed the replay of the penalty and they zoomed in on the Ty Smith block in the back,
and that's how they announced it. So the refs still blew it. They got to get the number right, get the call.
Yeah,
right.
Everyone was fired up after that, especially because on that possession we ended up punting and then they turned around and drove down and scored their first touchdown. So almost like a 14-point swing because we didn't get any points out of our drive and they got 7, sort of. Yeah, that's a stretch a little bit, but we took away 7 points.
Should have been 13-0, and then it ended up being 7-6. Anyway, and have the Titans arrived? You know what? That statement kind of sends chills up my spine because we're getting close. We're getting close if we're not already there. I mean, we kind of said this earlier, but it seems like the Titans are kind of on the map, especially this early in the season and getting these kind of big wins early on. People are looking at us now, and I think people are saying, hey, this Titans team, they very well may be arriving if they have not already. We just got to keep it up. We can't get too ahead of ourselves. Got to take it week to week. Our focus should be on Houston and trying to beat them, which is not going to be easy. You saw the game they put up against New England, but that'll be.
Well, I mean, I think we mentioned earlier, that felt like two heavyweight teams, heavyweight people kind of fighting it out early, testing each other. I feel like we're arriving, or at least embracing how good we are. Mariota is saying that they're expecting to win these tough games against elite opponents on their schedule now in the locker room. It's a feeling between the whole team. They see Seattle on the schedule and they're like, yeah, we should win that game.
And when an opponent makes a play, this team does not flinch. Seattle goes down, scores a touchdown, takes the lead 7-6. We go right back down, answer the field goal. After halftime, they come down, score a touchdown, take the lead. We come right back down and score a touchdown. We do not flinch. We do not lose our composure at all during the games. And that's what you see in really good teams that have arrived.
So I'm going to kind of tie this in weirdly, but back to the Adoree Jackson return and then the weird kind of penalty call. I thought the refs were pretty atrocious in the first half. There was a lot of weird calls. I mean, plays where 3 penalties are getting called on one guy. But I'm all tying this into the Richard Sherman late hit on Mariota out of bounds, helmet to helmet. Got to talk about it. We got some questions about it. One, were you expecting him to get thrown out? Now, I wasn't. You were watching it on TV. I was watching it at the stadium, so I was not privileged to all the commentary talk on
Mr. Pereira's insight.
Yeah, the insights of that. I'm just listening to a lot of drunk fans around me calling for Richard Sherman's head on a silver platter. But for one, I thought that was his second unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which should warrant a automatic ejection.
It was a personal foul. Not unsportsmanlike. Apparently, you can get as many personal foul calls as you want, but if it's I think targeting or unsportsmanlike conduct or taunting or something like that, that's what gets you ejected. And he only had one of those.
But
he talked back to the official.
He was very. I don't even know what the word is.
Vocal,
and just in the ref's face the whole first half. If I were the ref, I would have just kicked him out for being annoying AF.
Richard Sherman got painted in a bad light for me today. I kind of liked him as a player. I liked his attitude.
I liked his fire.
And his edge that he plays with, and he's a really great player. But, man, after that and him complaining and, getting in the ref's face, and then what he did to Mariota on the late hits, he rubbed me the wrong way in this game. I'm not really a fan of Richard Sherman.
I just think I don't know who the officiating crew was today, but seeing Richard Sherman just on his knee with his helmet off, pleading with the refs, over and over through the first half, and nothing really coming of that. You think Ed Hockley's going to stand for that? No.
Yeah,
No,
I
one,
don't
because
think
Ed
so.
Hockley's got them guns, man. He can protect himself.
Nobody would talk to Ed
But
Hockley.
I agree. One, I think you kind of have to have, if you want to be a good cornerback in the league, I think you kind of have to have that edge and that fire. I mean, you look at it from great cornerbacks like Josh Norman and I think Revis was kind of, I mean, he had that edge. He was more of a quiet edge guy, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you think about that?
Overdid it a little bit.
This one from Blake Carson, how that whole play went down with Sherman's hit on Mariota. He says, were you happy with how Taylor Lewan kept his cool while in Sherman's face after the late hit?
Did he keep his cool? Because he was like in his face screaming at him, talking trash to him.
I mean, he kept his hands. He could have easily punched him in the face, which is, I was kind of expecting there to be a scrum after that, and there was.
There was a little bit of a scrum.
2 flags on both sides, but
we don't know what exactly was said. We can't hear what the players are saying, and I need to be cleared up about who the foul was on. I thought on TV it sounded like the ref said, they called it on Sherman, and then they also said, personal foul against the offense, number 78, and then it sounded like he said 77, like quickly after that. It was like, oh, he meant to say 77. But did Conklin doesn't strike me as somebody getting personal foul penalties.
No,
like
but
that.
I heard I was in those.
And Lewan was the one in his face.
Yeah,
so I thought it was Lewan.
I heard Conklin was really heated. I believe they called the penalties, or they announced the penalties on Conklin and Spain at the stadium. From my viewpoint, it just looks like a massive pile of players. I know Richard Sherman's in there. I'm hoping someone's stepping on his face, but I can't really see. And I just hope that we don't come out with any penalties. But do you think he should have been ejected for that hit alone?
I don't know.
When he planted his foot to hit Mariota on that play, it was like 2 yards out of bounds.
I was hoping.
Or his foot was a few feet out of bounds before he even planted his foot to hit Mariota.
I mean, so you're not saying it's an honest mistake, and he was
saying
just in the heat of the moment, and
it was clear
he was out of bounds.
I think he should have known that this hit was going to be out of bounds.
Yeah,
when he's planting his foot out of bounds to make the hit.
Yeah, I thought 100% he was going to get ejected because I thought originally 2 personal fouls like that you're going to get ejected, and
one being that.
I mean,
hit on a quarterback to the head out of bounds.
You're trying to make me say, yes, he should definitely be ejected.
I heard a good point from the Titans radio on the way back, saying that if that had been, Aaron Rodgers or any of the, one of the top 5, quarterbacks in the league, they're getting Sherman thrown out. I think Sherman, in the way he kind of played the refs in the first half, saved himself from that. And then we see later on that drive, they come back and he gets he draws the bogus offensive pass interference on Decker. Like, he gets his way back.
Yeah.
Like, that should not be happening in this league. And when they left him in the game, I thought for sure that there was going to be more fights to come later on, because as a player, seeing that happen to your quiet leader, I said, if that had been Aaron Rodgers, it would have been, I think, a different story, or Tom Brady.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. That's true. I think there's definitely something to be said for that. I have a bigger problem with the fact that we were called on a personal foul for our reaction to trying to, step in and protect the quarterback. Like, you got to allow our players to, be pissed a little bit about that. Like, you can't. What do you expect us to do? Like, oh man, he just really illegally hit our quarterback. We're just going to take these 15 yards and we're just going to move on. Like, no. Like, you can't. This is the guy that you're spending the entire game protecting and having him stay on his feet. And when he takes a shot like that, you get pissed. I mean, you need this guy, especially a guy like Mariota and the leader that he is. And I don't know. I was more pissed that you get flagged for reactions for protecting a quarterback.
I like to see that,
it negates
though.
itself.
I like to see it last year. I think when actually Lewan got ejected during that Packers game, he accidentally hit the ref instead of the Packers player.
that was funny.
I like the fire of the offensive line.
No, yeah, me
stand
too.
Up
I'm not saying that they should back down and keep their composure. Like, I want them to have the fire and be pissed. I'm saying they shouldn't be flagged for getting riled up when something like that happens.
It's almost like self-defense. If someone tries to shoot you and you turn around and shoot him back, do you get charged for murder?
Yeah, do you get to go to jail? Come on.
I don't know. I'm not a judge. Am I?
So you're saying Richard Sherman should be ejected and kicked out of the league forever?
I think it was a judgment call on the ref's part, and I think the officiating crew today made the judgment to leave him in the game, which I think affected the game too much. I think if I had been especially the head judge or ref on the field today, I think I would have chosen to eject him
because and it's factoring in and how close it happened to his 3 fouls against him and how he was begging on
not one with just the hit and then what happened after, but already how he had been playing in that game. I mean, he already had 1 unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on him on a play where he got 3 penalties.
Seemed a little out of line.
Yeah, seemed a little out of line, and then that happens. I think that's kind of the last straw. Get him out of there. I mean,
it's not like we're division rivals. It's like he was out for blood against us. Like, come on, dude. We haven't played you in 4 years. What's the deal?
The focus of player safety, being on the league this year, that protecting quarterbacks. I know Mariota was considered a runner in that play, but regardless, he was out of bounds already, and you went for his head.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've already, had questionable calls in the first half, dirty calls.
Sure.
So yeah, I think I would have ejected him there.
Dirty Sherman.
He did it, so we moved on.
All right. Well, so, what else we got on the questions?
That's kind of a lot of them. Okay. A lot of what are your thoughts on Sherman being an asshat? Yeah, blah blah blah. a lot of that. Let's not spend a lot of time on this, but what do you think of the Seahawks and Titans deciding to start the game during the national anthem in the locker room?
Getting political.
We got a few questions for that, and it was a big storyline of the day.
I think they did a good thing in that they didn't provide any storylines to go with by keeping the teams in the locker room. You don't get to point out, oh, this player kneeled and this player kneeled or whatever, and they're obviously protesting. I think they're kind of just trying to avoid the issue entirely by keeping the teams in the locker room. I don't think they were. Were they?
What do you mean?
Were they keeping the teams in the locker room?
The teams decided themselves.
Yeah, and so I think the teams were deciding to kind of stay out of kind of the whole issue, or were they all? Was that their way of protesting? Is that we're not even going to come out for the national anthem?
Well,
is that how they were?
Surprisingly, the Titans and Seahawks were one of 2 of the 3 teams today that decided to skip the national anthem. Steelers being the other ones, which Steelers announced it before the game, like an hour before the games even started.
Yeah, which was
big news. I didn't know until the national anthem started, and then the sidelines were empty. I'm like, oh wow, maybe this is like a league-wide.
Yeah.
Those are funny words. Thing.
Lead wide.
I thought you hit it kind of perfectly on the hat with your text message to me, which I'm not going to be able to pull up because our thread's pretty long because we were so pumped for the game.
Yeah. What did I say, though?
But you're saying I don't think they're something to the effect of they're not protesting the country or the flag or what the country stands for.
Yeah.
They're just uniting as one. And I think, or did you say something like that? You want to pull up that text real quick? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
They're not protesting the flag or the anthem per se. I think they're just freaking protesting they're trying to bring awareness, to what's going on in the country, like with the social injustice and whatever, what's going on in Charlottesville and all that. I mean, I think people are taking it the wrong way. Like, I think people are saying, like, oh, they're anti-American, they're protesting the flag, they hate America, and that's not what they're saying at all. It's just like an awareness thing. And you know how players will wear like a pink ribbon back in the day to raise awareness for breast cancer.
They even had breast cancer awareness month.
I mean, they didn't kneel during the anthem. I mean, and that's another issue, too, is should there even be a national anthem before a sporting event? Like, it didn't used to be like that. It's just like a sense of nationalism coming in.
Yeah, I don't think they're protesting nationalism or anything like that. They're raising awareness. They're being aware of the issue.
People think they're being just disrespectful because they're kneeling. Yeah. But I've seen a lot of soldiers, like soldiers that have fought to, protect our freedoms, and they're saying like, yeah, I've fought to protect this very freedom, your freedom of speech, to to speak out if you see something wrong going on in the country. Like, you have the freedom of that, and I don't think people should be shut up from that.
Yeah,
like,
and I heard
saying it's a peaceful protest. No one's getting hurt by them doing this.
I liked how we all did it as a team, and I don't know how this. I think from Mike Mularkey's post-game press conference, someone asked him that question, and he sounded like it made it seem like there was some kind of communication between both the Titans organization and the Seahawks organization to where both the teams would do that like
they
evenly.
agreed.
They agreed that both teams would stay in the locker room. So And
I think they handled that well.
I did
think
too.
That's probably how
and
it
I think
should
it came down to Rashard Matthews was wearing cleats today that said, "We are one, and then we all bleed the same." And I think that they were really kind of promoting that issue by staying in the locker room, like saying that we're all one. And they're more protesting the divide in our country right now between this issue and other issues such as social injustice, etc. Okay, you want to move on? I don't want to stay on that issue.
Yeah, we got on a little soapbox. Hopefully,
go over political.
We might have lost a lot of fans and subscribers.
Okay, so second half just blew it wide open. We came out 21. Let's see, they scored. What we have?
21 in the third.
Yes, 21 in the third to their 7.
Had them plays to Rashard, Jonnu Smith, and then DeMarco Murray. 3 straight drives.
Yes, great plays. What do you think? We've already kind of talked about the offense. What do you think of our defensive performance? Because I thought they played well. You look at how many points that, Russell Wilson's stat line, and then how many points that the Seahawks put up. We gave up 4 touchdown passes and a career-high passing yards to Russell Wilson. But you look at I walk away from that game being like, man, I thought our defense played great.
Yeah, especially in the first half. They could not get anything going. Russell Wilson was their offense. Thank goodness we're not in the NFC West because he is so frustrating to play. Like 5, 6, 7 times, you think you have a sack and boom, you don't. He has the escapability of a magician.
Of a gazelle.
One of my keys to the game in the preview was containing Russell Wilson, and really we didn't do that.
So I guess my key was more important than your key, obviously, because we completely botched your key of containing him.
Yeah, he got away, and he made some crazy Russell Wilson plays. And we still won because our offense played so well. But I thought we did as good as we could. We got 1 sack, which is not what you want.
But he was pressured a lot. I mean, he wiggled his way out of sacks multiple times.
We got him out of the pocket, which is what you want, but you want to contain him. He made close it in.
3rd down completions for first downs while being tackled on his stomach. How do you do that, bro?
You're just Russell Wilson and a crazy athlete with perfect instincts and athleticism. They played well. We didn't get any turnovers. We only sacked them 1 time. Our defensive backs made plays. We saw Logan Ryan showed up a few times. He had 3 passes defended.
Yep.
Adoree Jackson had a couple passes defended.
I mean,
Wesley Woodyard played really well. Yeah, he was making tackles all over the place, getting in the backfield, making tackles.
It's his 10th year in the league, and he led our team with 10 total tackles.
He's still
10 total tackles, 10 year in the league. That's a lot of 10s, yo.
And a lot of people were looking for someone to replace Wesley Woodyard in the offseason.
Yeah.
And man, he's shutting us up. He's a captain of this team on special teams.
I mean, on Doug Baldwin's first touchdown pass, I don't think Adoree could have played that any better. I mean, I think that's just a lot of their offensive, a lot of their big offensive plays were just
crazy accuracy from Wilson too.
Playing against a Super Bowl winning elite quarterback and then a great team. Doug Baldwin's a great receiver out there. I mean, he had a day too, but man, we kind of let them. We're like, well, if you can beat us with Russell Wilson and Doug Baldwin, try to. And they tried, but they couldn't do it.
Yeah,
but
they tried. They did have a lot of pass plays though in the second half that we gave up, and it was maybe it was kind of defense we're playing. We did seem like we were playing a little bit of prevent defense, kind of milk the clock, and that can be so frustrating to watch. I kind of want to keep the foot on the gas a lot of the times whenever we're on defense. And
I think we just had such a control of the game at that point almost. And I think a big key to that was, one, we hadn't turned the ball over. We had gotten the run game going. We kind of busted it open with our 21 third quarter points. And then we talked about the stat pre-podcast, but our offensive line, I think Mariota dropped back 37 times. And out of those, he only got pressured twice.
Man. Offensive line, lights out.
We should give them the game ball for that, right?
Yeah.
Give the offensive line the game ball. Yeah. Going up against the Legion of Boom in that front 7, Michael Bennett, Sheldon Richardson, Cliff Averill, Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, almost rushing for almost getting 200 yards rushing, not allowing 1 sack and only allowing 2 pressures. Offensive line gets the game ball.
That's exactly what we needed to do.
Yeah.
Control the ball, no turnovers, and allow Mariota to give him time in the pocket to make the plays he needed to make, and he did. And I think our defense did as well. Yeah, we got gashed at times, but I think when it came down to making enough plays to win the game, that's what they did. I mean, going up against elite offenses in the NFL, your defense is going to give up some points. You know,
I wouldn't call Seattle an elite offense, though.
True, especially not this year. Going up against elite teams. But come on, if we play the Patriots, you expect to shut them out? No, Tom Brady's going to get some points on the board. It's when, you know, do you make enough plays over the course of a game to win that game? And I think our defense did that today.
Yeah, we did. And yeah, I was going to say, them committing penalties on themselves kind of hurt them a lot, especially on their last kind of desperate attempt to get back in the game. They had like a 4th and 22 they had to convert because of a couple. Oh no, it was an intentional grounding. That should be a sack for us. Give us a sack.
Yeah, basically. We had 3 sacks. Yo, 3 sacks.
Wait, 3.
2 sacks.
2 sacks. We'll take the 2.
2.
Yeah. And I mean, they made the plays down the stretch. Incomplete passes, shutting them down on 4th down. Man, how many times did they punt? They punted 8 times. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Forcing 8 punts. That's a lot of leg work for Mr. John Ryan. Yeah, they still have John Ryan. I know your team, Seattle, even though we play you every 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
I just watch a lot of football because I don't have a life.
Anyway, closing thoughts on the game. Is there anything else you want to cover? Any questions we missed on Twitter? I want to give a game ball shout out to Ryan Suckup, man. Came to play today, booting some serious field goals. 4 for 4 on field goals. His long was 47 and 3 for 3 on them extra points, bro.
Remember that time when I was like, should we be worried about Suckup in the preseason because he like clanked in an extra point and missed like a 35-yard field goal? Like, no, Suckup is golden. He's a golden boy.
He was golden today. I mean, all the points in the first half for every game. No, for the last 2 games, he's had all of our points in the first half.
Yeah.
Very solid performance from Ryan Suckup.
Keep doing your thing.
Especially this year, I feel, kickers are getting overlooked and booted left or right if you miss a few field goals. Ryan Suckup, consistent as ever.
Good pickup. Thanks to Kansas City for that one.
Any closing thoughts overall?
Man, I think
Justin,
I feel like I did, but nothing's coming to me right now. I'm super pumped about this win, man. We're over halfway through this opening stretch of the season. Like I don't know, a lot of people said these first 4 games were our toughest stretch, and if we can get through these, the rest of the schedule really lightens up. And man, getting a win against the Seahawks, I know a lot of people didn't see that coming at the start of the season, but man, we did it. We're sitting at 2-1. Tied with Jacksonville, but not really tied because we have the head-to-head tiebreaker over them at first place in the AFC South. No, it's still early, but man, the games just get bigger from here on out. Huge divisional road game again against Houston next week that we're going to need.
And then we play on the road again.
If we start the season with 2 road division wins, what's up, AFC South? What's up? Come take this division from us.
Don't get ahead of yourself. It's going to be a tough game, especially how they played. They came out against the
You know what? I'm actually starting to get concerned that Deshaun Watson is developing very quickly.
Yeah, someone slow him down. Oh, wait. Here we come. We're going to slow him down. Am I right?
Yeah, we shut down Bortles, and we can shut down Watson. That's a fair comparison. Someone comfort me about that. No.
No.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Great win today. I think if you're a Titans fan, you should be proud, man. Seahawks have been an elite team for the last few years.
You should be very pleased with what we're seeing from this team so far.
They've been 2 Super Bowls in the past 5 years and won one of them.
Yep.
And we
made the playoffs every year.
Out. Yeah.
Won their division last year.
Have we arrived? I think we are arriving. We are witnessing the arrival. I hated all the hype we got in the offseason, but this was a big win. Not to further the hype, but just to let everyone know, put the league on notice.
And a lot of people picked us to win this game over the national landscape. Like, a lot of experts, so to speak, were picking us to win. And usually when the Titans are in that situation, we'll lay an egg and drop it. But man, we showed up, and we definitely proved them right to pick us. And that's kind of a new thing, new territory we're in.
Yeah, but there's no forgiveness in this league. Got to turn around and play on the road against division rival Houston, where we do not fare well in Houston.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. We can't get too high, can't get too low. Just got to keep an even mindset and just take it one game at a time.
If the only place
Mariota
where
said week in and week out.
Yeah, the only place we're allowed to play where we can get too high is in Denver, which we're not playing in Denver this year.
Very true. You're talking about the altitude, right? Not
altitude, yeah, Mile High City.
Yeah, right.
Come
Okay,
on,
good.
What else would I be talking about? All right, this has been going on long enough, I think.
Yeah.
So let's.
I hope we don't get hate for our political statements, though. I'm slightly worried about that. I know a lot of football fans hate the kneeling factors, but I don't know. We're just two guys. What do we know?
What do we know?
Go America.
Go Titans.
And
that's how it should end.
Yeah, just the Titans.